Good day, everyone. Hope you're doing fantastic. This is Tony Ibrahim, your captain for Citizenship and Residency by Investment Programs, founder and owner of 111 Group. Today, in this episode, I would like to talk about something very important, especially nowadays, the uncertainty that the Caribbean islands at the moment, who they have Citizenship by Investment Program facing related to the Schengen access, whether it will be still Schengen visa-free or will be visa required in the upcoming days, and what is the let's say the recent matter that it is really happening. I would like to talk about it today in a fair way, where I would like to explain what is the current situation and current procedures in the 5 Caribbean islands, how they have Citizenship by Investment Programs, comparing with other immigration programs, whether is it residency by investment or even also immigration in general, in order to have that type of aspect from all these elements, mainly from the security perspective, where in my opinion it should be addressed in the with the authorities, relevant authorities, in order to know what is really happening, at least from an expert who's been spending at least 11 years in this industry in general. For everybody who's watching us for the first time, I would like to give a little bit update or what is really like a brief what has happened so far from the Caribbean islands, and even also from the EU in general, related to the Schengen visa-free agreement. So in March 2024, the EU Council made a draft of suggesting amending the Schengen visa agreement, mainly to do the re-evaluation from the EU towards any country that they have a visa-free to the Schengen countries or the Schengen zone, who they have citizenship by investment programs. Right after 7 days exactly from that draft of the amendment, the 5 Caribbean islands, they sat down together, mainly between the prime ministers and the program managers, of course with the relevant authorities. They have signed the famous MOU, where they have show a commitment to comply with the EU suggestions to increase the minimum investment to obtain the citizenship, to require an interview, do comprehensive due diligence, and even also establish independent body where this authority will be with the overview of all the 5 Caribbean islands related to the citizenship by investment programs in these 5 countries. In March 2025, that draft became a law in the European Union, and the Caribbean islands as well, they have made a draft of a new suggestion for the citizenship by investment programs, where they are trying to do more enhancement and complying with the international partners, and mainly which is completely switch, in my opinion, from the Caribbean islands to do a minimum stay requirement after obtaining the citizenship. As per the proposal, it is 30 days as of today. The proposal has been sent to the European Union, and even also it has been published to get an opinion from all the let's say in the public, for anybody who wish to have any suggestion at the moment. At the moment, we are waiting the feedback from the European Union related to the draft that has been made from the Caribbean islands. So this is the recent update that it has happened, let's say, between the European Union and then the 5 Caribbean islands. But I would love to highlight a few important matters, in my opinion. First of all, if we ask ourselves the question why the Caribbean islands, they have started their citizenship by investment programs. Right after the independence of these countries, they have faced financial issues, mainly to encourage the foreign investment to come towards the countries. So they ended up having, let's say, without any reserve in the country from oil and gas or any mining, as example, or any type of, let's say, a source of income towards the country. So they ended up in 1984, St. Kitts thought about how they can encourage more investment to come. So they saw, or they found out that their passport have a good ranking in general worldwide. So they thought that to implement the citizenship by investment, where the person can obtain the citizenship by investing in the country without even staying in the country for any day, it is completely out of the standard in general, where the other countries like US, Canada, New Zealand, and even also UK, and all the European Union, if you'd like to become a citizen of these countries, you have to stay with a minimum period of time, a period of years even, in order to become a citizen of these countries. So after the St. Kitts, when they started in 1984, Dominica started as well in 1993. Right after 1997, Grenada, and then the other two Caribbean islands started recently. As example, in St. Lucia started in 2015. So the whole concept of opening the citizenship by investment programs for this Caribbean islands to encourage foreign investment, to support the country, especially for the country's GDP, and even also do enhancement in the country infrastructure. We can see today that buildings and apartments have been handed over to the citizens of these countries, supported and funded by the citizenship by investment programs, and even also in airports. It's been developing, and completely new airports. As example, it is also funded by the citizenship program. So many infrastructure, and most importantly also 5-star hotels that it has been constructed by the citizenship by investment programs. So the whole concept of that programs, why it was open, just to do the enhancement of the infrastructure, and even also to support the governments financially due to the lack of any reserve or any, let's say, another source of income towards the GDP. And that's why we have seen in some of the countries their GDP, depending on the citizenship by investment programs, some of them 5%, 10%, and it goes all the way up to 60 to 70% of the yearly GDP. So that is the reason why the Caribbean islands started to open the citizenship by investment programs. Everybody is thinking, or majority of us, especially the Western world, if we can say, that they think this is the citizenship per transaction. So if I would like to have citizenship, I just do like a shopping. I go with these countries, for example, and then I say, okay, this product, if we can call it as a product, it costs me this much, so I pay it and then I get it. This is completely not the truth. The truth behind the citizenship by investment programs, it is fully regulated, and it goes through a process. And that process, I would like to highlight it today. So if we go from the beginning as us as agents, so we do a qualification check of the person. If somebody show the interest to apply for any citizenship by investment program, whether in the 5 Caribbean islands or any country who they have legal or Citizenship Act, if we can say, by investment, Citizenship by Investment Act. So we do, first of all, we do the qualification check, because the law is quite clear that who can apply, who cannot apply, and what are the conditions for the person to be qualified or not to be qualified. So once we do the qualification check, and we do, of course, our own KYC and even also our own due diligence in order to know if the person legally is also eligible or not. So we started to gather the documents, and I have to highlight something quite important. The documents will be required to apply for any citizenship by investment program, mainly in the 5 Caribbean islands. It is quite massive. So it started from the birth certificate, where the person get the first official document once he got birth, and then it goes all the way till date. For example, we go with the birth certificate, all the IDs, whether is it their national ID, resident ID, driving license, and even also go for his educational documents, as well as the financial documents. So it goes with massive documents related to him. And the most important document, in my opinion, is the police clearance, not only from his home country or original country, from any country who lived in the last 10 years, more than 6 months. He is required, she, of course, required to submit police clearance to know if the person has if he committed any crime or not. In terms of the financial documents, Also, all the governments will require a 12-month complete 1-year bank statement from his personal account and even also from his company account if he's owner of a company. And then the trade license of all the companies if he is an owner or a partner of any another company as well. If the person or if the investor or the applicant is just an employee, it requires a seller certificate from his company. So all of these documents to verify and to be checked by the government. So once we do the collection of all of these documents, a part of these documents allow me also to mention something, which is the government forms, where some of the governments in the 5 Caribbean islands require fingerprints of the applicants above 18 to be submitted in one of their forms, and even also, the most importantly, information about the person, from not only about him, the history of his the residence history of the 10 years, the last 10 years, and then the employment history of the last 10 years as well. They also require information about the parents-in-law, even if the spouse is not applying for the citizenship, his siblings, and even also the kids as well, in order to do another due diligence on the family in case if they have any ties, let's say, with anything that it can be considered as a potential risk towards these countries. Once we gather this information and these documents, and then we collect them together and we put them all in the place, we have to do the certification of these documents, and then we are able to submit the applications to the citizenship by investment units in these 5 Caribbean islands. Once we do the submission, first of all, the application will be checked by one of the team members of this unit, and she, of course, either will accept the application in terms of documentation or will be rejected. Of course, so this is another filtration of a qualification check. Let's assume that the person, let's say, having a nationality that it is banned, as example, or his source of fund is from, let's say, sanctioned country, as example. So with all of this check from the one of the members of the citizenship unit will either accept the application in terms of qualification or will be rejected as well. So if the application, let's assume that the application, after reviewing all the documents and making sure all the documents are completed, and then the person is qualifying to submit the application, and then this is the moment will be a due diligence on the person, and then all of the relevant information submitted in the application. With the due diligence process, it is a 5 stages or 5 filtration system, if we can call it. So there will be a third party private company accredited in the one of the countries, mainly in the countries that they have, they consider the 5 Caribbean islands, consider them as international partners. It has to be licensed from these countries, and then they will do investigation of the person and verification of every single document that it is submitted. If the birth certificate, as example, is authentic, if the passport copy is authentic, even also if the police clearance is authentic. More importantly, they will also check if the person hided any information on his application, or he has a ties or relationship with anything that it can be considered, whether financially or whether any type of other illegal activities to be considered as a potential risk towards the country and towards even also the other countries that the country passport allow them to go visa free to, or visa on arrival, as example. After this, after the check from the international company, due diligence company, they do also on the ground due diligence on the person. They check whether he has a good reputation or bad reputation, and part of the documents, of course, he has to prove where he is staying and where he is working. So they will do on the ground check if the person having or staying in this place, or this is his home, or even also his working address as well, in order to make sure that the person not hiding any information. They also do something which is quite important. That's why the bank statements are important, which is something they call it the FIU, which is the Financial Intelligence Unit. They check also if the person has any ties or he's having any suspicious illegal activities related to the financials, to check also the source of fund. Is it comes from legal sources or illegal sources as well. They also do the check of something they call it the GRCC, which is also the international partners are involved in this type of security check, whether to get the green light for the application to be approved or the red light, let's say, if the application is being approved. And then the GRCC is one of the main, let's assume that all the other checks has been approved. For example, if the GRCC said no, means the application will be rejected, and then they will do with the vetting of committee to either to say that the application, we propose the application to be accepted or not to be accepted. And most of the Caribbean islands, they have a committee that they will talk or they will discuss the applications case by case to see that if the application will be passed or will be approved or will not be approved. So this is like a small, let's say, and quite a quick explanation about the process, the current process that it is happening in the 5 Caribbean islands. So I would like to highlight few matters. Let's assume that, like with all this filtration system for the citizenship by investment programs, let's compare this with the other matters as well. But before that, allow me to say something which is quite important. Majority, let's say, or the some of the articles that it has been published in general, questioning why is the approval rate is quite high in the 5 Caribbean islands. I would like to express this and then to answer this question, at least from my point of view, that us as agents, when we do a qualification check of the person and we do the KYC, the required KYC, and even also a small investigation, if we can say, about the person, we can at least eliminate the risk of the application can be rejected at least 50%. Because if the person provided us the documents, the required documents, and then even also we do the KYC and the qualification check, at least we will be able to eliminate 50% of the risk. Most importantly, also, when the application is ready and then will be submitted towards the citizenship unit, they will do also the check if the person, the qualification check if the person got or provided all the required information, all the required documents, and then the application will be checked or will be submitted, let's say, officially to the unit. So with this filtration system, in my opinion, that it can at least tell us if the application will be potentially approved or rejected. So that's why the application rate is quite, let's say, the approval rate is quite high. Do not forget, we also, the citizenship by investment units, they involve the international partner in the decision of these applications. So with all this being said about the process of the citizenship programs, I would like just to compare it with the residency by investment programs, and mainly in the EU today, in my opinion, and then with my specialty for the last 11 years so far with this industry, I would like just to highlight and to give a question as example, what type of due diligence will be, or it is now, for the residency by investment programs in some of the countries, except one country who they have at least they implemented fees on the due diligence. So majority of the countries where they have residency by investment programs, in my opinion, at least with my expertise in the European Union, there is no a third party can do a due diligence on the person. There is no FIU, if we can call it the financial intelligence unit. There is no underground, on the ground check if the person saying the truth, if he's staying in this place and his work is in the place or not. There is no vetting committee as well. So there is only internal security check of the person, whether the person is a good person or not. And the successful rate of the residency by investment program is even also quite high compared to the citizenship by investment programs, because if you provide the whole documents, that it is required, which is, in my opinion, if we compare the list of documents in the Residency by Investment Programs towards the Citizenship by Investment Programs, it is only 10% compare the Residency by Investment Programs, the documents 10% compared to the Citizenship by Investment Program. So it raised for me a question, what type of documents that it should be provide. And then in my opinion, the Residency by Investment Program, they should enhance their process towards the security check and even also the required documents towards their applicants. I would like also to since I really mentioned about having this point of view in a fair way, I would like to highlight that Malta is the only country that have a golden visa or residency by investment program that it is required for the applicants to have to pay fees to the government for the due diligence process. Other than Malta, there is no other country in Europe that they have this type of the let's say due diligence process. So in my opinion, that if we talk about the residency by investment program, especially those people, let's say the applicants, once they get approved, they have the right to live in the country who they obtain the residency from, and even also to travel to the other countries. So I would say that they might be considered as a potential risk towards also the other European Union countries, that at least in my opinion. I would like just to highlight a few matters also, not to now after we finish about the comparison between the residency and the citizenship by investment programs. I would like just to have a few highlights in general about a few matters that it has been out there in the media, but it did not really take the let's say the spot or the highlight compared to the Caribbean islands at the moment. The moment that the EU implemented the new Schengen law, where they do the re-evaluation for the countries where they have a visa-free and they have citizenship by investment program, it became a massive attack, in my opinion, at least in my opinion, about the Caribbean islands and then the citizenship programs. It has to be more regulated. It has to be more, with the due diligence, more advanced and so on, which is the Caribbean islands, they are really implementing or they comply with these requirements. But I would like to highlight a few things in my opinion. First of all, as example, I have not seen that massive attack towards other immigration programs as well. As example, the ICCRC, the Canadian Immigration Program, let's say, it has been announced in several official media in Canada, as example, about some harassment, violation, disrespect behaviors in with the members of the ICCRC, as example. I would like also to say that the UK Tier 1, that it was closed in 2022 because of the serious national security matters, and then also some financial integrity concerns, as example. I would like also to highlight another matter, in my opinion, which is if we talk about potential risk, as example, this has to be highlighted and it has to be advanced and enhanced, in my opinion. The refugee matter, where what type of due diligence it is implemented in the refugees, and even also how many incidents that happened, discovering that some let's say illegal behaviors that it has happened from the refugees in these countries, and then some people who they became a resident of some European countries, and then they ended up discovering that those people, they have done so many illegal activities against the human rights in their home countries. I would like also to highlight something quite important. As per the new the statements that has happened in the year of 2000 towards 2004, as example, 2024, sorry, that hundreds of thousands that they became European citizens from countries who they are banned to apply for the citizenship by investment programs in the Caribbean islands, as example, or even also some of them are banned to apply for the golden visas in the European Union. So with all this being said, in my opinion, there should be some enhancement even also for the residency programs and even for the immigration programs, because if we talk about the immigration programs in general, I do not see I'm not the highest expert person in the immigration programs, but I do not see any type of due diligence on the persons. It is similar to the residency program where the documents, it has to be attested by the relevant authorities, and even also there is no on ground check if the person is saying the truth, and how many times that it has happened that the people provided fake documents and then their applications passed through. I remember one time that we hear in the news and so many articles related to some one nationality that between 100 to 200 people, they got deported from one immigration or country that they have immigration program because they have proven that they submitted fake documents when they got accepted, as example. So with all this being said, it has to be also say in a fair way that the citizenship by investment programs in the 5 Caribbean islands, it is way regulated in my opinion compared to the immigration programs and even also to the residency by investment programs. I would like also to highlight other matters in my opinion, which is it really concerned me as a person expert in this business. As we can see that in some of the official statements from the governments about the top 5 or top 10 nationalities who they committed a crime in the UK and European Union. These nationalities till date they have a visa-free access to these countries. And what type of crimes, for example, the citizens of the Caribbean islands they did in UK and EU to be treated in a way, in my opinion, that it should be others they should be treated as example. I would like also to highlight something in my opinion. It really concerns me that the illegal passports that it is roaming around the world. We have seen so many advertisements that it is recently happening about some European passports that it can be obtained, and even also some of the South American countries where you can illegally obtain the citizenship by some people, in my opinion, that they just use one, let's say, weak part of the Citizenship Act in this country is if you prove that you are if you have a ties in this country, or one of your grandfather, as example, is a citizen of these countries, you have the right to obtain the citizenship. But the most important matter here, that those people who they are getting the citizenship, they do not have ties in these countries, and then whoever is providing them the service, faking documents that they are having ties or they are related to somebody who was a citizen of these countries, and then this person getting the citizenship, and then he will be eligible to travel around the world without a proper check of the person, without even having a due diligence on him, without providing documents required. There is no FIU check, there is no GRCC check, there is nothing to be checked, and in my opinion, more important, that the person might fake his name in his new passport. So this is something quite concerned me in general, that it has to be stopped and it has to be regulated as well in these countries, at least in my opinion. Moreover, if we can talk about it also, that there are so many countries at the moment till date that if you prove that you are a citizen of these countries, or if you prove that your grandfather is a citizen of these countries, you have the right. So let's assume that it is not fake documents. It is true that you are your grandfather is registered and officially registered in these countries. You have the right to apply for the citizenship. But my concern, and mainly in European Union countries, but my concern today, if we talk about the 5 Caribbean islands, for example, the person gets a citizenship without having ties in these countries. So this citizenship that it become by descent, as example, for the third generation or second or third generation, who they have never been in the country, who they have never stayed in the country for certain period of time. So what type of ties that they have, other than that their grandfather was a citizen of these countries, and what type of due diligence, most importantly, what type of due diligence of the persons, whether the person is good or bad, especially that he is the second or third generation of one of the citizens of this country. So what we don't know how he was raised up, what is his interest, as example, is he going to be a good citizen or bad citizen? So this is something, in my opinion, it should be highlighted in a way. Of course, we should not also forget about the fake passports that industry that it is happening. We have seen it even also in the social media now, that if you would like to obtain any country citizenship, any country passport, as example, you have the right also, not you have the right, but you can pay just $5,000 or $10,000 as example to get a fake passport where you can, it is quite difficult to find it out, it is a fake, and then of course you have the right to travel to all the countries except the country that it was issued from. So in my opinion, with this, to summarize this episode, I would like to highlight, or I would like to everybody who's watching this episode at least to have the type of judgment and fairness, a judgment between the what type of regulations the citizenship by investment programs and the 5 Caribbean islands that it is compared to the residency by investment programs, compared to the immigration programs, compared even also to the refugee matter, compared to the illegal passport that it has been let's say roaming around without a proper due diligence. I would like to have, if you have any question, of course, I would like you to comment in this video, and of course, if you have more information that you would like me to highlight it, do not forget to comment on this video, or even also contact me directly. It was with you, Tony Ibrahim, the founder and the owner of a 111 Group, and again, your captain for citizenship by investment programs and residency by investment programs. I really hope that I give the fair point of view from the industry, at least out of my expertise for the last 11 years. I hope to see you soon in the other episodes with more important information as well. See you soon.